Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to From the Nosebleeds. I'm Joey Gunnar, joined today by Anilo Piro. AP, I want to ask how you're feeling today, but I feel like I already know the answer.
Yeah, it just kind of is what it is with this Denver Broncos team, right? I mean, I understand everyone was pumped up and trying to rally behind Jarrett Stidham. And yes, I think it's more so frustrating about how the game played out as opposed to the overall result, because this was a game to me that the Broncos lost more than the Patriots won, if that makes sense. I mean, Sean Payton essentially outcoached himself, just missed opportunity after missed opportunity after missed opportunity for this Broncos team. And so, look, it was fun to kind of live on a prayer with Jarrett Stidham. It was fun to believe that this team can go out there and beat the New England Patriots. But the reality of the situation is, like I said, Sean Payton outcoached himself, but also some of the glaring flaws that were present with this team throughout the course of the season finally caught up to him. You know, there was a lot of people out there. The sun is always shining in Broncos country. And look, they were winning games left and right. Broncos country deserved to be pumped up. And I understand it was a backup quarterback and not Bo Nix. We could have that conversation a little bit later on in the program. But the wide receiver room was in shambles. No running game. Offensive line got pushed around. There was a lot of factors outside of Jarrett Stidham that prevented the Broncos from winning this game.
Yeah, and living on a prayer was fun, but was it living on a prayer? It looked good. Like the Broncos looked like the better team out there for a good portion of the game. They put themselves in better positions than the Patriots did, and really it came down to a few key issues and a few key moments that really stopped the Broncos from winning. I mean, and we're talking about the fourth down play when we could have taken the points. Sean Payton could have taken the points, and that maybe is what you're alluding to with the out-coaching yourself. And, of course, the fumble from Jarrett Stidham that set the Patriots up for their one and only touchdown of the game. There were multiple times where I was sitting watching the TV and I'm like, that's not going to lead. I mean, you can't win a game with that. You get the ball with 2.5 minutes left on New England's 33-yard line after one of the worst punts I've ever seen. And of course, thank you to the Elements for that one. But then the Elements didn't really help them any much back because the field goal gets blocked and you can't tie up the game. So there were really just moments that the Broncos ended up losing this game, and that's where I agree with you that the Broncos lost it rather than the Patriots winning it. But this game, I mean, I don't know if it's living on a prayer because we saw what could have been done. We saw a win there that didn't come to fruition.
Well, I think part of the reason why I say that is because I think if Bo Nix plays in the game, they probably win that game.
Exactly. 100%.
And Jarrett Stidham, you know, he had that pass to Marvin Mims over the middle, nice big chunk play, touchdown pass to Cortland Sutton. You're feeling good about yourself. You're feeling good about your chances in that matchup at that point. And then from that point on, I mean, Stidham, and I understand the Elements played a factor, but Stidham was on his back feet the entirety of the game. I mean, he was not dealing well with the pressure whatsoever. And so, look, it is what it is. It sucks. It's frustrating. It's still a good season for this Broncos team, and I know we'll have some of those more optimistic big picture point of view as the week and the months go along as we prepare for next football season. But the reality of the situation is the Broncos had a golden opportunity to win this game, and it was a combination of factors. It was coaching, it was quarterback play, it was lack of depth at the skill position. All of those things started to rear its ugly head in this game.
Yep.
And kicking.
Kicking 100%. Will Lutz 0 for 2, and you could kind of thank the Elements for the second one for that miss, but the first one, I mean, we're looking at the end of the half. Got to maybe make that. I mean, I don't know. We saw the kicker for the Patriots miss 2 of his as well. That game was we knew it was going to be a dogfight. We knew it was going to have a low scoring element to it. We knew that it was going to be an ugly game for most of it. And it just sucks so bad that it couldn't be ugly for the Broncos' favor. And I want to go back to you and allude to what you're talking about, out-coaching Sean Payton out-coaching himself, because I agree with the base of it and how you phrased it. And I just kind of want to get some input from you on what that looked like.
Yeah, I mean, the second most egregious aspect of this game was Sean Payton not electing to go for it, electing to go for it on fourth down as opposed to taking the points. And we kind of thought that in the moment. I was in the press box and debating with some colleagues about, like, what do you do? What don't you do? And look, Sean Payton is a guy that's going to live and die by his own sword. He's an uber aggressive quarterback. He has a ton of confidence in himself and his play calling abilities. And in the moment, I was able to justify the thought of going for it there on the fourth down. And hindsight's always 20/20, right? You got to think about it. It's not Bo Nix. It's your backup quarterback. And I don't know about you. There was an expectation that inclement weather was going to affect the second half. I heard about it all week on social media about it's going to be freezing. It's going to start flurrying and snowing in the second half. So the fact that that wasn't maybe in the back of his mind or maybe not present enough in his thought process makes the decision to go for it on fourth down all that more confusing. And the other issue with going for it on fourth down actually isn't going for it on fourth down itself. It's the play they ran on fourth down. Remember, Denver had to burn a timeout to set that play up, and that play was essentially over before it even started. I mean, New England sniffed that thing out, and Sean said as much after the game about how, you want to be aggressive. You felt like you had momentum. I don't think he expected it to be a 10-7 final score. I think he felt like the Broncos and the Patriots, for that matter, were going to put up some points, go up and down the field a little bit. At the end of the day, that field goal is the difference between pushing this game to overtime and potentially winning the game. So it was a lethal cocktail of bad mistakes from Sean Payton that ultimately caught up to him. Look, I respect the aggressive nature. It is what it is. Like I said, Sean Payton is going to live and die by his own sword as a play caller, but it's a heck of a way to look back on this game and say, you know what? If we would have just done this, we would have been able to at least tie the game, if not win it. And remember, that Jared Stidham fumble came up after the Broncos were up 7-0. They kicked the field goal there. They're still up 10-7 at that point. So New England still have to put some points on their board. Their kicker wasn't really feeling it yesterday. Drake May had 86 passing yards in the game. The field goal ultimately was the difference in this game.
And I love how you phrased that earlier, talking about how you don't hate the idea behind going for it, because that's exactly what I said when I was watching the offense stay on the field. I don't hate the idea of going for it on fourth there. Hated that play call. I hated the play call. Keep the ball on the ground in that moment. Like it just makes so much more sense to me. You need 1 yard. Give it to Jaleel McLaughlin. Give it to Jaleel McLaughlin. Hell, give it to Jared Stidham. Let him push forward for a yard. What would the Eagles do? The Eagles won a Super Bowl off the ability for Jalen Hurts to line up and take a hit using the tush push. Why would you not use a formula that has been perfected by so many teams? So many teams have used that tush push, and it has worked for them. Hell, the Patriots used it yesterday for their own one and only fourth down conversion. Why would you try to get fancy and put the ball in the air and end up throwing what's almost a pick? Especially, I wouldn't like that if it was Bo Nix throwing the ball on 4th and 1. Why would you do it with Jared Stidham? I get Jared Stidham played a great game. He did. I think for the situation that he was in, Jared Stidham had a great game. But that's not the moment where you give it to your backup. And it never should be. And that's Sean Payton and what you're going to get with him. That's the live and die by Sean Payton and his overconfidence in his quarterbacks. And I want to pivot more to Jared Stidham too. Anybody that's blaming Jared Stidham for this game and the way the Broncos lost, slightly delusional. I can't lie. I mean, he had a really bad mistake that led to the one and only touchdown for the Patriots, that fumble. But overall, he outplayed Drake May, an MVP candidate, and he moved the ball downfield on an incredible drive, the second one of the game for the Broncos, led them to their first touchdown of the game, led the entire game to the first touchdown of the game. And he looked calm and composed. He scrambled when he had to, and that's something that I was not expecting from Jared Stidham. He outperformed Drake May, and he was the one and only reason the Broncos were really given a chance. I mean, there are multiple other backup quarterbacks that I would say are not going to be able to perform the way that he did yesterday.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that. I think he was okay. I mean, he was 17 for 31, 133 passing yards. He had a QBR of 19.6.
Well, I get, but
Drake May had a QBR of 62.6. Like, Jared Stidham started out the game fine, right? As I alluded to, that deep pass to Marvin Mims, setting up the touchdown pass to Courtland Sutton. But after that point, Jared Stidham was running for his life. He didn't have the ability to comprehend pressure when it was in his face. I mean, he was backpedaling more than he was stepping into throws throughout the course of that game. But here's the thing. The loss to me, if you have to play the blame game, the Stidham fumble is absolutely egregious. I actually think that's the more frustrating aspect of this game than going for it on fourth down, just because that set up the New England Patriots with the ball in Broncos territory, something in which they had not been able to do up into that point. So you essentially gifted the New England Patriots the 7 points there. I mean, Bo Nix, you got a starting quarterback takes the sack there. I understand what Stidham was trying to do with the shovel pass and this and that. That is an egregious red alert error from Jared Stidham. It is what it is. But, it's just you can't expect all that much from a backup quarterback. And look, I mean, if it's not snowing, how does the game play out? Like, right, we could have these conversations time and time and again. But I also think part of what flawed Jared Stidham in this game is something that's been omnipresent since J.K. Dobbins went out, which is a lack of a running game. I mean, there was Alvin Kamara was not walking through that door, right? Like the Broncos, J.K. Dobbins was not walking through that door. The Broncos had no safety blanket for Jarrett Stidham. Obviously, they were down Troy Franklin. Pat Bryant was banged up, didn't play for a majority of this game as well. I mean, Cortland Sutton with the drop. I mean, it wasn't a perfect pass from Jarrett Stidham on that dig route over the middle of the field, but Cortland has got to catch that ball, man. I mean,
third down guy.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of different things that factor into this loss for Denver. Again, I think the Jarrett Stidham fumble was the most frustrating aspect of the game just because of what it resulted in for New England. I just Stidham, whatever. That's kind of where I'm at with that. You know, like,
I'm really just trying to paint it in a better light too. I mean, what choice did you have? You know, Bo Nix is down.
No, you're right.
Jarrett Stidham comes in and sure, the QBR said it's better for Drake May, but
not just better, a lot better. 19.6, Joey.
A lot better. But Jarrett Stidham outpassed him by 50 yards. He had a better completion percentage, better average. He had a touchdown. Drake May did not have a passing touchdown, and he took less sacks. Yeah, but sure, they were for more yards, and there were the two mistakes. One of them was the fumble that again, somewhat controversial. Not really though. He threw it behind him. It was a fumble because I just heard people kind of saying, you know how people make it. And then the interception, which is going to lower it, but you're throwing deep into the wind against Christian Gonzalez. Why are you throwing that pass? First of all,
that was one of the most disgusting interceptions I've seen all year. Like I saw that ball go up in the press box. I was like, what the heck?
No, that was going nowhere but Gonzo. And again, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. So bad mistakes are going to take Jarrett Stidham down from what could have been a great performance in this game. And really the silver lining that I found in this is that win or lose against the Patriots, Jarrett Stidham is not going to beat the Seahawks. You know, that was never going to happen. It was a fun story. It was fun to believe in. There are so many positives to take out of this season, and the way that it ended is going to leave a little bit of a check next to the side, a little bit of an asterisk, or could have been better, if you will. But really, it was just bad. But I want to pivot to the defense now. One of, if not their best performance this season when they really needed it. They're going up against what I've said a couple times this show, an MVP candidate, one of the top two in MVP voting or MVP odds, Drake May. They absolutely, they stopped him in a lot of ways. Now, sure, he was scrambling and he was making the defense work for him when he started taking the ball into his own hands and running. But through the air and through the early parts of this game, there was nothing that he could do to get past this great wall, this orange rush. They were dominating Drake May on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I was talking with some colleagues of mine, some former Bronco players as well, leading up to the game, and I said the two common denominators for a Broncos victory were Jarrett Stidham playing a clean game, which he did not, and the defense also forcing a turnover or two. I mean, that had been a major point of emphasis for Drake May to work on in their first playoff game and their second playoff game against the Houston Texans. The Denver defense did not manage to generate a turnover. To be honest with you, I'm not sure if that would have even made a difference with the way that Jarrett Stidham and the offense were playing for a majority of the game. But the reality of the situation is you sack the quarterback 5 times and you give up 10 points, you expect to win the game. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just the reality of the situation. So the defense did their job. It's not their fault that Will Lutz couldn't make a kick. It's not their fault that the last field goal attempt from Will Lutz was tipped. It's not their fault that Jarrett Stidham threw an egregious interception. And so the defense, Nick Bonito was a ghost in this game. I know Zach Allen had some stuff on the play sheet, on the stat sheet rather, but you can't really be upset with the defense. Like, that's kind of where I'm at right now with them. Like, they did their job and just the Broncos offense couldn't do enough.
Yeah. I mean, we're looking at a team that allowed 30 points to the Bills. And then a better offense, at least on the stat sheet. And if you've been watching the show, you know how I felt about the Patriots and their schedule, but a better offense on the stat sheet comes through. They hold them to 1/3 of what they held the Bills to, and they just couldn't get it done. I mean, there were, again, the offensive mistakes were what led to the Broncos losing. And honestly, the coaching, really, really unfortunate. I mean, I'm kind of at a loss, honestly, like how upsetting that game was to watch. He had such high hopes. Jarrett Stidham, the whole city behind him. And again, I think that he performed well in the situation that he was in, just could not get it done. What do you think? I know we talked about the running game. We talked about the mistakes. What do you think the Broncos could have really keyed in on early? And I feel like it's going to be the running game that would have led them to a better success opportunity,
Yeah, but the lack of a running game is not surprising. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson had 71 rushing yards on 25 carries, which is a lot of carries, obviously. But RJ Harvey, the Broncos' leading rusher, 37 yards on 13 carries. I mean, they've just kind of been a one-trick pony for a lot of this season where Bo Nix has kind of bailed them out late in games. I mean, Cortland Sutton's had some nice spots here or there, right? Troy Franklin in the middle of the year as well. But it ultimately comes down to a lack of fear that the Broncos instill against opposing teams' defenses. Like, there's no one on that Broncos offense, rather, that you truly fear if you're an opposing team's defense. You can shut down Cortland Sutton, or he might shut down himself with some of the drops. Troy Franklin you can scheme for. Marvin Mims, I still don't think is using enough with the route tree. Evan Ingram, joker. Joke's on us. I mean, with respect to what we thought Evan Ingram would be for this offense and this team moving forward throughout the course of this season. I believe he finished the season with 1 touchdown and under 500 receiving yards. The joke is on Broncos country for buying into that narrative. And so there's just not a whole lot of dynamics with this Broncos offense. As I said, it was kind of a one-trick pony of Bo Nix bailing them out. I don't really know what they could have done to up the ante yesterday. I mean, maybe Cortland Sutton coming up a little bit more clutch. The play calling was more horizontal as opposed to up and down the field. I mean, it was just not a good offensive game plan from the Broncos. That's a combination of Jarrett Stidham. That's a combination from the play calling, but also the fact of the matter is a roster that is lacking some talent at skill position.
Yeah, and I just looked it up. Evan Ingram, 50 receptions, 461 yards, and 1 touchdown.
I mean,
the joke is on us.
The joke is on us.
The joke is on us.
Like, let's just keep it a buck and a stack. And Evan Ingram, great interview, good guy to talk to in the locker room. It's not a jab about him, but it's just more so like what Broncos country was expecting from Evan Ingram.
Yeah,
it was
expecting a lot.
The complete opposite.
And it's not our fault that we expected a lot. Sean Payton led everybody to drink this water, drink this Kool-Aid. Hey, this is my joker. This is the guy. Well, the people in Broncos country, I feel like, would be like, no, he was making you believe he was the joker so that Marvin Mims could be the joker.
There's no one. I mean, like here's the thing. I need proven commodities on this offense. Like and I'm not saying like go sign a Cooper Kupp type or anything like that, but like there's no one.
Brown?
No, I'm not bringing AJ Brown in here. But like my thing is just like there's nobody on this roster right now that is like Cortland Sutton is your de facto number 1 wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Like, I think back to that Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas 1-2 punch that the Broncos had.
Incredible.
Right? And you were able to beat teams in multiple different ways. Okay, you're going to double Demaryius, we got Emmanuel Sanders, vice versa. And so there's just not a lot of dynamics with this Broncos offense right now. A lot of pressure on the quarterback. And when you go to a backup quarterback, the result is not all that surprising.
And we're not even into the offseason yet, but just to start off-season conversations, do you think that's something that they're really going to key in on?
Yeah, I think they have to. I mean, how could you not, right? I mean, there's been conversations about, they were trying to trade for Jalen Waddle, right? I know they were interested in Uboka. They passed on drafting the tight ends, Colston Loveland, who did a really good job for the Chicago Bears. And look, I think Jahdae Barron could be a good player for this Broncos team, and I understand that he's a premium player at a premium position, but the Broncos could have used another pass catcher. They got to figure it out offensively. And I don't think it's a matter of just Sean being super smart and calling better plays and Bo Nix taking another leap. Sure, all of those things could probably happen, but you need some real dogs on that offense right now. Right now, it's what's this term that Steve Smith threw out about Jerry Jeudy a couple years ago? He called him a jag, just a guy.
Yeah.
Like the Broncos have a lot of jags, and I like their wide receivers, but like they need someone to step up because it has been a by committee approach all season. Look at JSN last night for the Seattle Seahawks. Look at Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua for the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, you can say the same thing about the Buffalo Bills. I mean, where's their wide receiver? Stephon Diggs made a huge difference for New England, not in the game, but totality over the course of the season. Amon-Ra St. Brown for Detroit. Justin Jefferson for the Minnesota Vikings. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins for the Cincinnati Bengals. C.D. Lamb and George Pickens for the Dallas Cowboys. I guess A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to make Dan happy over there. Like, there's just it's a whole thing of like there's just not an assertive dog on that offense. They need one.
Okay. I hear your point, and I'll raise you another. Buffalo Bills. Do they have a dog? Do they have a guy? Or are they all Jags on the Buffalo Bills?
Right now, I'd say it's all Jags, and I think the reason why they're able to win these games is because they have a superhuman in Josh Allen. Like Bo Nix is not Josh Allen. So, like, point being, like, the same thing needs to be said for Buffalo. Like, go get that guy a receiver.
Same thing for the Chiefs. I mean,
yes.
Do the Chiefs, or are they all Jags?
But again, you draw the line with like elite level quarterbacks. Bo Nix is a good quarterback. These guys are otherworldly elite.
So what I'm going towards, and call me an idiot if you want to. I don't care. It is Bo Nix's second year, and we just saw him put up 33 points against the Buffalo Bills using all those Jags around him. Is that not a sign that Bo's starting to trend in a great direction, or am I just getting a bit too out of myself? Am I drinking the Sean Payton Kool-Aid, or does Bo Nix have the skill to spread it out to all these receivers who are all Jags, just a guy, and make it efficient enough and effective enough to where they can win games and put up 33 points in a divisional round game?
I just double down on it. Like, I agree. I think that Bo Nix is taking that step. I believe in Bo Nix, right? I think if Bo Nix plays in that game yesterday, they win the game. But, like, why not just push the envelope here a little bit? Why not just solidify that? Why not give Bo Nix that type of weapon? And so, yes, I believe in Bo Nix regardless of who the receivers are. He can turn rags to riches because we saw it throughout the course of this season. But why not just double down, right? You're going up against the dealer 6 in blackjack. Double down on that dang thing. You know, the dealer's probably going to bust, right? So it's like if you got the right cards, obviously. And so it is what it is, man. And look, that's not the whole reason why they lost the game yesterday. But to me, it's more so because here's the thing I was talking about with Amanda earlier. The expectation in Broncos country next season is AFC Championship game. Yeah. This year, it was like, okay, like let's get back to the playoffs, maybe get to the divisional round. I thought getting to a championship game was the cherry on top and a bit of cream. The expectation and the pressure gets cranked up for this team next season.
Yeah, now it is really there. I mean, having the number 1 seed and then going to the AFC Championship and only losing by 3, I don't care which way you flip it with this. It's a successful season. By and large, a successful season. The fact that they only lost by 3 to a high-octane offense like the Patriots in the AFC Championship with a backup quarterback is something incredible. And, of course, it's unfortunate, and I'm going to be sad here for this week, and we're going to be doing our morning MOURN shows all weekend or all week. And we'll keep talking about it. And really, I mean, I think that we can be happy about a lot of things, especially moving forward in this offseason. There's going to be some fun things to talk about, especially getting close to this draft, because we might be talking about adding somebody flashy like a wide receiver to this offensive room. All right, Anila, thank you so much for joining. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you throughout the week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow at 9 a.m. I will see you all then. Until then, y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.